Once again, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to be here today. So today we'll actually be covering overcoming obstacles, understanding current residential solar challenges. Then we'll go over powering through tactics to amplify your solar installation business. Then we'll have a summary, and then we'll have a Q&A session. I also wanted to let y'all know that we do have a poll section at the bottom right. So we'll be adding in a few polls here and there, and I'll let you know when I do that in the chat. Okay, so I wanted to introduce our speakers for the day. We have Tiffany Blay and Terrence Parker. If you guys want to introduce yourself, please take it away.
Well, I'll start here. Tiffany, it's great to be working with you here, our Senior Product Marketing Manager. I'm excited about today's lecture. I think that this is kind of an expansion of our webinar series we do at Solis into kind of a presentation that's more focused on sales and procurement and designers. But I don't want any of y'all to worry out there. We'll throw in some good technical jargon later on. So Terrence Parker, good to be with y'all.
Great. Thanks, Terrence. Again, I'm Tiffany Bly, Senior PMM at Solis. Thank you all for having us today. So we're excited to get into it and go ahead and kick it off with Terrence to talk about what the heck is going on in the market right now.
I'm telling you, this market, what is, well, so many folks are trying to figure out what we're doing and how we should go forward in this market. And it's not just about the technology, not just about some features that you see on product. We want to talk a little bit more about really what's going on, what we see, what sales folks, what distributors and others are seeing out there in the field in the second half of 2024. And well, the first half wasn't so ideal. We saw increasing costs, interest rates, we had all hoped maybe would start heading down, have not really budged much lately. And then there's some uncertainty around all those federal and state policies. We're seeing, the change from NEM 2 to NEM 3 was a big shock for the industry. And, other state incentives and policies are also a bit in flux in other parts of the country. And well, I don't think I need to remind anybody that it is an election year, and we don't know exactly what policies might be changing on the federal level. And that's just here in the U.S. Other folks are worried about changing trade policies outside the U.S. and how that might affect some of the equipment, the major equipment that we use here. And so all of these things together, along with just inflation that just seems to be backing down a little bit, I guess, or at least stabilizing a bit. But that's a lot of pressure on an industry that is used to 30% year-over-year growth, and it was tough in this first half, Tiffany. In this next slide, we got we just have to recognize that it's not just something that technology can fix. We a lot of what we see here in the market is a difficulty in finding good labor and good labor at a good price. It's difficult, and even interconnecting your systems is becoming a problem, especially for some of the larger systems where there's a big queue to get on board, and there's good reason for that in many cases, and that involves really the network itself. The grid itself really needs to be upgraded so we can wheel this power around the country more efficiently. So we understand a little bit about the utilities and how they might be pushing back a little bit to ensure that they're as ready as they can be for all of this distributed energy resources that are being connected to the grid. It's about this transition. It's about this energy transition we're in. I think this is something that maybe we can all feel a little lucky. I guess we're all going to see it in our lifetime, aren't we? Everybody on this call is going to see that transition happening. I'm excited about it. It's a big part of my life, solar energy, this career, and I am just excited to see that the wheels are turning and you're seeing a difference in this world by mass deployment of solar energy as I hope, our baseline energy source in the future. But let's drill it down right to everybody else here. Soft costs are rising, but supply is back to normal. And utility rates are continuing to rise. So that's pushing people into the solar market, into the resiliency market, where we can put solar and storage together. We're seeing incentives all over the country for installation of batteries. We're seeing it on the federal level with the IRA. I just got recently back from Canada, and there's a new federal incentive for batteries. And so I think folks are recognizing that, well, as I saw when I was a young man, that Tiffany, when I started in this industry, every solar system had batteries, right? So we all went grid tie in 2001, but it's really great for me to see how battery and storage, solar and storage are coming together, because I believe that's the best way to utilize and optimize solar panels. And solar panel prices are continuing to go down. That's a big market. We're all going to see what's happening. That's a bit in flux as we go into 2025. But boy, those module prices are coming down to a point where it's becoming affordable for everybody.
Yes, and we've seen too that Florida, Texas, some other states, although California being a primary state provider of success, are still experiencing growth. Obviously, California was a large market driver, but we're still seeing these states still performing. So there's still opportunity out there, as well as other companies that we're seeing fold or transition their business models because it's a time to innovate and transition. That opens up more market share for smaller installers and partners like yourselves to be able to take advantage of an opportunity, for example.
Exactly. We really see it as an opportunity for new ways to approach the business, and new ways that you got to create to really, sort of differentiate yourself in the market. And you can even look to the homeowner itself. They're changing. You're seeing the homeowner really becoming a bit more cost conscious. They're looking to, they want to get into batteries, but they might get a little bit of a sticker shock there. So you really need to look at systems that can maybe be kind of stepped into slowly. And so I think that there's some ways you can look at the market and technologies and the way that they can be utilized kind of modular, just step by step, rather than having to try to build a system over and over as you try to upgrade it. I think that, you can say that the rising utility costs are pushing a lot of folks into trying to deal with inflation using solar energy. We're dealing with climate change, and we're dealing with inflation when we get into solar power here. But resiliency is also a concern, the fires and other power outages that are coming. I don't want to sound scary here. Here in Michigan and other places, we don't experience much more than a few days of power outages a year. And so it's not such a bad deal in the United States right now as far as power outages go. But I think you really do need to find a way to kind of provide that kind of resiliency to the homeowner without breaking the bank. And that might be, less battery and more generator, or finding good deals on the new lithium battery packs, and really matching what folks actually need in that home to feel secure over a power outage of half a day or more. And we all got to think about third-party owned, right? This is another avenue for businesses to kind of change the way that they're supplying their systems. It just is another way for customers to get into purchasing the packages that you put together. So there's, I think, some new acceptance for the homeowners are saying, hey, with these battery systems, you're really a lot of things we can do with these systems, and we can say yes, that there's a lot of ways to get into solar without having to break the bank, being able to really take care of your most critical needs, and really in some cases get in without having to pay much up front. So it's about how you're approaching the business and then using the technology to accomplish your customers' goals, as well as get margin for your own company. Tiffany, let's talk. I kind of put a few barriers out there and some of the things that folks have been concerned about that I've been hearing about. As a manufacturer, we got to continually listen to our customers to bring product forward that's appropriate for their needs and what their customers are asking for. And so how are we gonna get to some of these barriers?
Sure. So in order to install more solar in such a challenging market, really to do anything in a challenging market, we have to address significant barriers that are blocking our growth to that market. And we think that's where we can come in as a partner to help address residential solar in a new way, more like with new flavor, for example, to help tackle these barriers head on. So first, we're going to look at the barriers themselves. So to be, again, more competitive in a challenging market, we need to take action on these certain barriers we have in order to grow the business, right? I mean, that's ultimately what's most important. So for example, we want to save time. This is, the more time on site before, after, and during an installation can really make or break you in labor costs. And next, it comes to reducing costs overall, whether it's through equipment, soft costs, just reducing those overall upfront as well as long-term costs can not only make or break it for you as a business owner, but it can impact the homeowner as well. And so that's as well as something we're going to cover today. That scaling to resiliency. We talked about resiliency earlier, how homeowners are transitioning to value resiliency. However, sometimes you can see the price tag of a resiliency offer and it can create some sticker shock, right? So we want to be able to offer homeowners a way to be resilient, realize lower upfront costs involved in this. So we offer solutions that could help them scale to their future resiliency goals down the road, but also help securing their business today or a slower way to do it and scale up later on. And then, of course, ultimately ensuring customer satisfaction. We know happy customers are key to referrals, as well as you establishing that partnership with customers for the long term. And so we want them to be satisfied from day one, as it is a crucial barrier to success as a business. So first, we're going to dive in to saving time and money. What do these fewer parts equaling more value look like for you as a provider, as well as how Solis can help you to fully realize that value? So of course, first, time is ultimately money. So saving time will help you save costs, right? So reducing the amount of hardware or equipment to commission, service, and support can equal less time. That's either, again, through commissioning one piece of hardware versus several points of conversion can equal reducing time. Having that remote troubleshooting capability, searchable error codes or a here component, making it simple to troubleshoot issues remotely. So you limit truck rolls, especially in those truck rolls. Are you going to need multiple staff members to get on the roof to troubleshoot or replace equipment? Or can you handle everything at the ground level as well? Can help you reduce those time and soft costs. Spring connected terminals. So is the hardware that you're utilizing designed intuitively for long term? So for example, spring connected terminals as opposed to stab-in terminals help retain torque and keep those wires in place, so you're not going to the site to just meddle with shoving wires back in, for example. Again, fewer failure points help enhance that reliability, having less components on the roof that are exposed to the elements. Also having high quality product is really important as well in that. And then being able to partner with someone that can offer a comprehensive portfolio in every aspect of customer that you serve. So again, not just about residentially, but how can we advance your business commercially as well? So you need to have a comprehensive portfolio to limit the time you need to spend on customer acquisition costs, partner acquisition costs, as well as procurement to finding products. So if you can find a partner that can offer a more comprehensive portfolio, you're spending less time finding the right solution and more you found the partner to partner with. Also, obviously, response time and customer support is a key component of saving time. So Solis's world-class support is a perfect example of how that response time can really impact how much time your staff and your customers are having to spend on the phone to resolve issues. So not only does remote troubleshooting play in there as well is that robust support network in the United States, as well as even having things such as native Spanish speakers, can help not only serve the diverse country that we do serve and diverse customer set, but also enhance the overall wait time and ensure that customers are getting resolution on things and things aren't sitting open. So for example, 80% of our tickets are replied to within an hour, 20% handled within the first 48. So again, we prioritize customer service as a key component, and that's something that you should definitely consider when working with partners as well, to make sure that time is figured out on the back end as well. Better installation density. So modules are a significant cost of the overall system. So being able to get the most out of your power module spend is very important. So you want products that can support the higher amperage inputs that those higher modules need to be able to effectively function well. You can install more power using less roof space. So again, on a residential roof, that's limited square footage, that's prime square footage. So being able to use every square foot effectively and utilizing the latest module technology will help with overall energy production. So great example is the S6 Hybrid has 16 amp inputs and options for 3 to 4 MPPTs. So the MPPT piece of it helps with enhancing the flexibility of placement of those arrays. And then you can really optimize the density, essentially doing more with less, to be able to not experience things like power clipping or having module compatibility issues. Saving equipment costs, obviously downright is a big cost factor, right? Inverters are one of the primary drivers of overall system costs according to Ohm Analytics. So a good example on how we can do this is enabling our parts to do more. So a great example is Solis Hub, in that it's a 200 amp service rated pass-through that can also function as an ATS as well as load shedding and load management. So you want to look at products that can do more for your solar residential on-grid, off-grid systems, that you can limit the actual hardware acquisition costs, but then also realize more benefits from those pieces of hardware. So striving for simplicity, just look for parts that can do more, and simplifying those systems, again, with one point of conversion, also further reduces complexity and the overall expenditure on equipment alone.
You are essentially seeing the entire bill of materials on that last image there. You got the hub and the hybrid, and the communication stick are literally the three main pieces of your bill of materials. And so that simplicity of design, the ability to put essentially the gateway wherever you need it in the hybrid, either right next door or just on one side or the other, you really got flexibility as to how you set the system up.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And also in that is having optional optimization. So the ability to utilize MLPE when you need it and not be required to use it when you don't. So we have a capability within our inverter that it can be done without hardware in those moderate to mild shading situations, to where something called multi-peak MPPT tracking helps you mitigate shade without having hardware, in that you're not sacrificing output at the array level if one module is underperforming. So it intelligently searches the best performing array when there's a shading situation. But however, there are some situations that do require, the additional super shady situations that you just can't get around, or for example, as well, the homeowner may value the capability of module level monitoring. So it's important, again, to being flexible and allowing homeowners choice and providing them options. This is why Solis partners with great providers like we show on the right, to give homeowners, for example, they can have a high quality Toyota or they can have a high quality Lexus. It just depends, again, where they're at in their inflation interest rate situation right now, their cost of life, but they still value PV. So you can give them quality options to choose from on a scale of capability as well. And so Solis has transmitters built in our inverters that function well with these products to, again, further enable the option of optimization and module level monitoring when the situation calls for it. So again, you're not tied to it every single installation. You can always offer the convenient, cost-effective Toyota option, or you can, again, offer the high quality luxury option as well for a homeowner. As well as rapid shutdown with less. So UL 3741 has enabled us with great racking partners, as well as array level shutdown devices to limit the amount of hardware that's required at a site, as well as time. So it's a huge advantage that you wouldn't need to install rapid shutdown boxes on each module. And that helps limit your time again, as well as hardware expense. So our residential products are partnered with those providers to help enable UL 3741 compliance. And so, of course, this is an evolving thing in our industry. It's super exciting for string inverters everywhere. But if you're interested in learning more, we'll be happy to give more trainings in the future, and of course, support you with our distribution partners as well on mapping out those approved bill of materials to be able to execute a more time and cost effective and ultimately simpler system for the homeowner.
We're seeing great adoption of that, Tiffany. And I think one of the reasons is because the firefighters were involved in developing the standard. This standard not only is about the equipment, but it's also about firefighter activity, technique, and that sort of thing around PV arrays. As an old timer in this industry, I must say it's very exciting for me to see that UL, the solar industry, and the firefighters got together to develop this new standard for safety around PV systems on homes. Very exciting news.
Great. And so now we're going to jump into scaling to greater resiliency. That one of those barriers of we want to offer fewer parts, but we also want to have better flexibility, which to help ultimately scale. But before we get into that, we wanted to talk about some of the challenges we see with some of these all-in-one solutions. So specific to the storage and residential storage industry, we see a lot of solutions coming out that are inverter and battery kind of combined in terms of deployment. And there are some challenges with those types of deployment that we want to call out as far as just for knowledge and to let you guys know of some things we're thinking. So on the service side, the challenge with an all-in-one solution is if there is an issue with the battery, for example, the entire system would be down in order to resolve the battery issue. And so this can pose a challenge for the homeowner as well as for you in terms that the system may not be functioning or performing while that product's being serviced. So that's an advantage of, again, of having the inverter and battery in a separate unit, is that you can realize the system continuing to perform while the battery may be resolving some issues. Additionally, there's challenges with scale. So in the S6 hybrid scenario, you can easily parallel or add on inverter capacity. You can easily add on battery capacity as needed to fit the needs of the homeowner. You can also easily go from like a partial scenario or a whole home backup scenario. In the case of all-in-one, you kind of need to have that envisioned at the onset. Or you don't have the option to add a battery or inverter. You kind of have to always add an inverter and battery at the same time. So it is limiting in terms of the scalability, and can also increase time and labor too down the road if that's not something you envisioned at the onset. Additionally is capability. So you are really limited to what the backup power capability is within the onboard inverter. So in this case, a popular solution, for example, on the market today is limited to only 1 hour of battery backup. And so that can be a challenge, as you don't have any more or less, as well as you may need external hardware, ATS for generator integration, an external piece of equipment for load management. So again, this can create a costly system without delivering the resiliency that the homeowner was potentially looking to realize. So again, it capability restrictions in those all-in-one solutions as well. Also then, of course, is lack of choice. You don't have the ability in all-in-one solution to choose the battery provider you wish to work with, the inverter provider you wish to work with, the monitoring solution you wish to work with, optimizers, for example, if you wish to add those. So you are limited, again, in in the choice that you have in deploying these solutions. And that can be disadvantage for both yourself as well as the homeowner. So ultimately, solar today, battery tomorrow. This can help avoid homeowner sticker shock. So you're not going to them and proposing a full whole home backup solution, right? Because sticker shock there can be very challenging. So in order, I think we want to encourage, obviously, suppliers, inverter companies that can provide AC and DC coupling options for batteries down the road for customers, support a generator easily without the additional cost of external equipment. So for example, in the Midwest, everyone already has a generator, right? So it's nice to be able to install these equipment that can also integrate to the resiliency levels that they have existing on their home today. Also, you can start the homeowner off small and upgrade more capacity later. This further solidifies your partnership with the homeowner and helps you establish a long-term relationship for growth to help them scale and help them increase their plan as they go forward to that long-term resiliency go of, say, off-grid, for example. Also managing critical loads with or without hardware. Solis has a couple solutions that can do it with or without hardware. So again, it's important to find options and flexibility and choice in determining the right pathway for your specific customer. Terrence, do you have anything you want to add on that one?
Yeah, I really do think that Solis is responding to the customer in this. We provide this hybrid that I've been seeing installed a lot in homes where the homeowner wants solar power. They want to, start affecting climate change and looking at their accelerating utility bills. But as you said, the battery right now is coming down in cost for sure, but it does add a few thousand at least to the cost. And so a lot of folks are installing the Solis hybrid because it will be ready for that battery later on. It already has a 120/240 split phase native output. It already has the battery connections. And so it just operates as a standard grid tie inverter and, gives the homeowner a good opportunity to make an investment that is later expandable without adding a bunch of new hardware. The hybrid is ready to go just with its just the PV, the hybrid, and and maybe a cellular or Wi-Fi communication stick. They're reducing their bills, and they are absolutely ready to add a battery whenever they need to. So, they could go partial home after that, or they could go whole home. They got so many options, and they didn't waste any of the money that they, in their initial investment, they essentially can expand upon that initial investment.
Right, and that's a perfect segue again to why choice matters. It's being able to scale efficiently and having that greater design flexibility, but also, we partner with over 7 battery manufacturers that are UL 9540 certified with S6. And so that gives the homeowner as well as yourself an option to scale. You're simplifying your supply chain and ensuring security in the event one manufacturer goes out of business. You have several of other options to position that could be solutions for that scaled resilient deployment, as well as you have options, and being an open ecosystem is very important to Solis, as well as we value these partners, right? We test with them. We thoroughly do compatibility testing in order to help you stay agile and cost effective, because you're not needing to rely on a single supplier to deploy the right solution that works for that specific homeowner. Great. Also, backward compatibility is very important to us as well. As systems age, we want to find, we find more and more it's important to install things that will have replacements 10 years from now. String topology in general is backward compatible, right? So this is a huge advantage of the string topology in general. You don't need to be concerned whether a certain make or model is around. If you do have a situation down the road, you could also easily upgrade the system later depending on the inverter performance. We're in the business to sustainability. So we want to make sure that we're making these sustainable choices to ensure that these systems, you won't need to go up and replace modules, and actually you can just do it at the ground level, replace what you need to, and potentially upgrade for the homeowner as well, and ensuring compatibility. You won't have any compatibility, and it's simply a firmware upgrade, issue, for example. So again, backwards compatibility is super important, as well as ensuring your customer satisfaction, that they can be confident and secure in the decision that they've chosen a product that's going to last and be able to be repaired in 10 years from now, for example.
Yeah, it's that confidence that they can have, that the strings that they have in groups of 8 today can be expanded to 10 or go down to 6. The investment that they made in PV and inverter is going to be compatible with coming equipment and the equipment that we've had in the past. So compatibility is big at Solis, and we hope that it's going to help you provide that agility you need and confidence to your customers that they can make the investment today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a perfect segue, again, into ensuring customer satisfaction. That's a huge barrier. We want to make them happy, and we want to provide fewer parts but better performance, and we're going to go through how we can help enable that. So obviously, flexible placement. You want to be able to put the product where the homeowner wants it. So there's many storage and hybrid solutions on the market today that require a garage. So there's many homes that don't have a garage, or there's many homeowners that don't want something in the garage. So again, having the option and type of enclosure protection, as well as quality measures that further enhance that protection and make it available to put the product wherever that end consumer wants it, is a crucial piece of making the customer happy. And it's something so simple, but it's very important to be able to be flexible and agile in where you have to place the product. Additionally, is systems that work longer. So unique to Solis is we have a very low startup voltage, as well as large operating windows. And so with that, our data shows that our inverter starts producing earlier due to that startup voltage, as well as stays up later due to that wide operating window. Even at 10%, under 10% loading, we still see over 97% efficiency. So the homeowner ultimately can realize more energy produced per day, which will help them realize more money produced per day on average, which will ultimately increase their satisfaction. Also, power security. We talked about homeowner confidence as a crucial component earlier, and keeping homeowners informed and confident, making them feel important, like their solutions customized with intelligent load management options. You can designate their EV charger so they can be confident their car is always ready to go in the event of an outage. It's just customizing those partial or home systems for them is really crucial. Making them feel comfortable that you can remotely shut down their system if there is a concern or issue. And having that full visibility via the Solis Cloud app is wonderful for not only the homeowner, for them having confidence that you can watch and monitor and take care of their system if you're seeing a lack of performance. Also, export power control and generator auto start capability. And they can be confident as well that the hardware undergoes extensive burn-in testing, as well as full robotic production lines. And a lot of these quality measures that Solis takes results in our #1 globally in PV string inverter shipments, as well as a great track record of reliability in the US since 2007.
There's so much there, Tiffany. There is. And that security that folks are feeling, what I call a command and control that they have now with these two-way communicating cloud monitoring solutions that we have. You can start your own generator. You can really turn off an air conditioner in your home from your own phone. That's a kind of control and command you're able to give now to homeowners with these apps and with battery backed systems. And I just want to give a little bit of a shout out to our factory. We're a very modern factory, and one of the differentiators of our factory is that we burn in our products so when you get reliable product when you open that box. And indeed, we've been installing inverters, our 2G products, since 2012 in the United States, and some of those are still working. Those 2G products are gone way through their warranty. So it's a provable record of reliability in the U.S. To provide that greater confidence to your homeowner.
Great. And ultimately, again, like we talked earlier, happy customers mean more referrals. So a single happy customer can yield 9 referrals, according to Oberlo. So for each customer who walks away happy, 9 referrals are likely to follow. This statistic serves as a compelling illustration of the snowball effect that customer satisfaction can have. So therefore, the emphasis on customer satisfaction should not only be for its own merit, but for a strategy to generate more business through referrals. 98% of people read online reviews for local businesses. 81% of shoppers in the US have said they're influenced by friends' social media posts. So again, by selecting cost-effective, high-quality equipment that a homeowner can scale up later, you are creating that lasting partnership that homeowner will always turn to you for issues, as well as turn to you when discussing friends and family to go solar. So we believe at Solis that we can help you unlock growth in this challenging market by several ways of these breaking down these barriers of saving time and money, reducing complexity, utilizing cost-effective but still high-quality hardware, increasing that installation density, faster response time, that backward compatibility, and of course those short support times as well, to be able to enable you to save time and money and break down that barrier. Additionally, is scaling with ease for the consumer, offering flexibility, choice, the Toyota or Lexus option, having AC/DC coupling, generator integration, easy capacity expansion. So again, having flexible options to help you provide the best solution for their resiliency goals. And of course, resulting in hopefully breaking the barrier of having really happy customers. So having longer lasting systems, better producing systems, flexible placement, simple remote management, and again, high performing hardware, high quality hardware, and great customer measures so they can feel that you're with them in the long haul to resiliency. And we feel this can yield and unlock up to 10 to 25% more growth in this challenging market. Okay, and I think I'll kick it over to Miriam to moderate the Q&A.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we did have a question come up about how people can choose 3 or 4 MPPTs.
Sure, I can take that, or Terrence, would you like to?
Go ahead, Tiffany. For me, it just provides more flexibility. If you only have to run back 3 power lines to get the job done, that saves you a little money. And if you have to isolate some particular shadowed area, you can use that 4th MPPT to kind of, put 3 or 4 modules over there to kind of do their best in that shadowed area. So that's why I choose 3 or 4.
How do you choose, though?
Well, you want to cut cost. You want to make sure that if you can do the job by just bringing back 3, then that's going to be less expensive in copper costs to bring all the power you need back to your inverter. But maybe you're going to put a lot of PV on your inverter because you're, maybe at a low tilt angle or something like that. You don't have ideal conditions on site, so you might want to increase the DC-AC ratio on there. And so if you do that, you might just need more room, more space to put more PV onto the inverter. So I would say that would be your driving decision makers. If you want to put a lot of PV on the inverter, you might choose one with 4 MPPTs. If you want to put, get a typical DC-AC ratios of 1.3 or something like that, 1.2 to 1, you might just need the 3 MPPTs.
Okay, thank you. And what are the U.S. tech support hours and location?
Well, tech support is for Solis is coast to coast. And so I think we're running 8 a.m. East Coast time to maybe 8 p.m. West Coast. I think those are the hours. Yeah.
Awesome. And are there some specific advantages of Solis inverters compared to other products for residential?
Yeah. Well, Tiffany, I think we went through a lot of the differentiators for us. It starts with our manufacturing. We're a very high quality manufacturer. I think that that's a differentiator in the fact that we burn in every product. It starts there.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a lot we reviewed today as both the cost-effective point, less points of failure, the open ecosystem, the amount of partners that we have in the industry to support the options that enable the functionality that a homeowner may be looking for, whether that's rapid shutdown, module level monitoring, battery integration. I think that open ecosystem is a huge differentiator to Solis in general. Obviously, the burn-in testing that we do, the manufacturing measures, the support, like we talked about, the average wait time is significantly less. And if you look at the industry numbers as well, as well as just general functionality and having products that do more with less.
Okay, great. Thank you. And what are the commercial PV storage options?
Oh, we're so excited about those. So we are actually going to have them on display at RE Plus. Come visit us at B47008. We'd love to have you. We'll be showcasing our commercial hybrid options that are coming to the market at the end of the year.
Yeah, that'll be really exciting to showcase. Also, how are Solis inverters better than competitor options?
Well, we don't like to,
yeah.
I mean, it's hard to bat, our competitors are out there and we're all making that transition from oil and gas right over to solar. So we don't like to call them out too much, but Tiffany, you want to talk, I mean, when I think that flexibility, that ability to expand the way you want to expand, I think, rather than kind of get locked into a particular brand and its expansion levels only, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and I think, again, the competition involves based on, what applications you're looking at. Are you talking about PV only, or are you talking about storage systems? But again, Solis does both. So that's one thing of where we can offer less components, more competitive pricing, and also just more functionality and compatibility, and that open ecosystem, flexible to scale, are just key components. But of course, we don't want to disparage competitors. We feel there's a play in a market capability for everything. But again, we went over a lot of it already of where we feel we have significant advantage is that capability to partial and home backup. That reduction of costs and components is huge, as well as the support network and global standing. As we mentioned, we're #1 in string inverter deployments residentially in the globe. So that size and support network really helps us execute well in the U.S. market.
I think we covered all the questions.
Great.
Oh, sorry. One more question just popped up. Somebody's asking if they can remotely configure their data logger.
Yes. So, right. And whenever you use Solis Cloud, you will set yourself up, and then you will build a plant. That's one of the things, first thing you do. And then you'll associate a particular data logger serial number with that plant. And then once that registration happens, once you plug in that data logger, it will start producing data, and you will start to see a data stream coming from that particular thing. So you don't necessarily need to configure your data logger remotely. It self-configures and self-powers itself when you plug it into the 4-pin port on the bottom of the inverter. You'll be able to see 5 volts on 2 of the pins there to ensure the data logger can get powered up, and it self-configures and self-powers. So all you really need to do is register that particular serial number on your plant, and then that data logger will grab the serial number of the inverter.
Here's some contact information, and if you want to follow us on social media, these are our handles on each platform. But thank you all for joining us.
Tiffany, this is my pleasure, really, to participate in this kind of webinar that I find so useful for folks that are trying to maneuver in this market to grow their business. And this messaging that Solis is providing, not just about hardware, but also about how the operations can meet your customer needs. This has been great, Tiffany.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming. If you ever need anything, their contacts on the screen. And we'd love to stay in touch and give you more technical presentations in the future. Please reach out to us. We love doing personal trainings and would love to see you more.